through the fire, been burned by the flames, but I won't let the pain keep me in chains. Every scar tells a story, a lesson I've learned. With every step forward my passion burns, and though the road is long and winding, I'll keep my faith, keep on climbing. With every breath I'll chase my dreams, no matter how hard it seems.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Chris here. I'm gonna go ahead and make this my intro to my first ever vlog. Do bear with me as it's gonna be a little choppy and random at first. I'd intended on having a little better software, a little better equipment, a little practice, etc. But I'm just gonna have to go for it because you can never get it perfect. So just to bring you guys up to speed, I'm pretty much living out of my van, which I'll explain more about that later. But yeah, I just want to invite you guys on this journey with me, and hopefully you'll be entertained, be inspired, and hopefully you guys may be able to help me out by getting this YouTube channel going. And in turn, hopefully I can help you guys out with sharing this journey with you and sharing all the wisdom and knowledge that God has blessed me with over the years. Hopefully I can help some of you guys out there. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start editing some of the footage that I've got over the last few days. This is day 5 of my journey. We're going to go ahead and rewind and go ahead and get you guys caught up to speed and go from there. So let's jump into it. It's about 5 a.m. I couldn't sleep, so I just decided to get up and start documenting some of this. I don't have anything else to do right now. It's about 35 degrees. Not too bad, but a little too cold to sleep comfortably, especially because nature was calling, so I had to get up, and I just figured, well, might as well just tighten up the bootstraps and go ahead and start the day. So it's pretty dark. The moon, it's about 1/3 of a moon. Where is it? You can kind of see it there behind me. I'm going to introduce you guys to this guy over here, Sam.
Hello.
We are going to get a fire going because it's pretty cold. While I'm chopping wood here, guys, again, in the beginning, things are going to be a little random and out of order. And that's just due to the fact that, well, frankly, I don't know what the heck I'm doing when it comes to this whole video editing thing. I'm literally just jumping right on in and figuring it out as I go, because that's the way I learn best and the way I've always done things. A few moments ago, you did hear me say that I'm staying in my van. That is true, but I'm also staying wherever I can just to try to survive. And so I did end up linking up with a friend who I met a couple years ago on one of my journeys, and since we were both kind of in the same spot trying to figure life out, we decided to go stay in this little cabin and just kind of think and figure out where we're going to go from here. So let's go ahead and get back to building this fire. We got some already pre-chopped firewood under here, under the cabin that we found. And we got some logs I've been chopping to make some sticks, some birch bark. I'm gonna go find some tinder, see if I can find some dry moss or something out here. Just to help get the fire going a little quicker. So what I've got here is some logs. We got an assortment of some birch bark, some pine needles, and some pine cones. And we're gonna go ahead, and I am gonna cheat. This is not a DIY survival channel, although maybe we'll do a little of that at some point. But we're gonna go ahead and use our trusty Bic lighter and light some birch bark and get this thing going. Alright, there we have it, guys. Fire. Fire is always good footage. They say 3 things men never get tired of staring at: the ocean,
Fire and women.
well, that's number 4 actually. Women, yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah, that was number 1.
Yeah, that's number one. Okay, I guess there's 4 things men never get tired of staring at. Women, but the 3 I was gonna say: fire, water, and the sky. I guess you could also say the landscapes.
Yeah.
You know.
And women.
And women. We'll just sandwich everything else between that. The first and last thing that men like to stare at, according to Sam.
Facts.
The whole world is to know.
That's alright. They should. I am very impressed. Fire is a success.
Well, like I said, I may not have been a Boy Scout or an Eagle Scout, but I know a thing or two about survival.
About, being a Boy Scout.
What, like on the video?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they get me.
Sure.
So,
hold on, let me see if it looks better. There we go.
Okay.
Got the firelight going here.
So we're at Boy Scout camp, and I actually tried to become a Boy Scout once, and it didn't last very long. I went on one scouting with them, and I was trying to get my totem chip for fire starting. And what happened was, I've always been very, very good at starting fires. So I started a beautiful fire. It was lovely. It was perfect. Awesome fire. And it was going, and it, started to be a really nice fire. But then what I realized is I left my friend's knife in the fire, and it was like his grandfather's knife. So I threw my hand into the fire and grabbed the knife out of it to save it, and that disqualified me from getting my totem chip, and my friend was pretty mad. So, and then I didn't become Boy Scout, so that was my one and only day and experience with the Boy Scouts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it was their loss, right?
Yeah. And my friend's lost, because I think his knife got damaged.
Yeah. Yeah. We almost joined the Boy Scouts as kids. My dad he didn't get a good vibe by this one scoutmaster that we met, and he was kind of like, yeah, I'm not taking any chances. Which was kind of ironic, because he wasn't, well, let's just say he wasn't the most perfect father out there. Kind of a, well, that's a story for another time. But, yeah, so we ended up joining something called Awanas at our church, and we were briefly a part of like a Christian version of Boy Scouts, but that didn't last very long. And then he put us in martial arts, which was pretty cool. It's how I learned how to fight. Well, and of course, growing up with brothers taught me quite a bit about fighting also. Let me actually, speaking of your friend's knife, I better move your hatchet before it melts. Yeah, that is a pretty good fire, isn't it, man?
I mean, it's fabulous.
Now, the best fire I ever made was actually it was when I was at that cabin I sent you the picture of.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was supposed to come up for a couple days, and she kept delaying and getting tied up with other things. And anyway, she finally came. It was like super late at night, and it was so dark I could barely see. My flashlight battery's dying, and she was like, let's start a fire. I was like, we'll see what we can do. Well, we just had that long drought in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was just because everything was so dry. I mean, I could barely find any tinder or anything, and I just I found this one branch which had just a bunch of like little twigs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I might have grabbed a piece of moss, but even the moss, it was like it had been so dry for so many weeks and months that the moss was like virtually non-existent. It's like it just hadn't grown. There was little bits of it, but it was all shriveled and dried up. And I can't remember what I think I just grabbed a bunch of leaves, and I found this one branch, all these twigs. I just crunched it all up, stuffed it in there, and there was like, similar to this place, the guy who owned the cabin, he had a stack of some logs, so I grabbed a few. And then there was this kind of a skinny tree just that had fallen down from the wind. So I basically I lit it, and like within seconds, kind of like this, it's just going. And then all that wood, because it had been so dry, I mean, it just caught. Yeah. And like within like 2 minutes, I mean, I had one of the biggest, nicest fires I'd ever made. And I did not expect that. I'm thinking I have no good tinder kindling. And so and there's this big tree laying right here. So I pick up this tree and just slide it over, and I just sit, because the wood is so dry, it's like about to just all burn up.
Yeah.
So I ran out in the woods, found a big giant log, and I came back, I picked this tree, slid it over there. And man, listen, that fire, it burned for over 24 hours. It got so hot, the coals.
I thought we'd have coals this morning, but we didn't have much.
I know, I was hoping for it when I woke up.
Because we had like a decent fire for a couple hours. It was all pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Because it was cold and windy all night.
Well, and you really need like some big logs like that guy. And get them going, and then, like you said, without the wind, get it all kind of packed. And then once those embers get going, they'll go.
Yeah. But we had like 2 armloads full of logs,
Yeah, but you need a big one, because it's gonna.
But it went to dust,
That's what I'm saying. You want to have something big, like really big, and then you want to get like coals in your fire,
Yeah. Well,
like there's got to be a lot of coals.
It would last. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, usually it'd last more. It's just because it's cold and windy, so all night the coals were just burning and burning and burning till they're ash.
Yeah, I'm sure that definitely contributed to it. For breakfast, we got some beef jerky and some pistachios.
Probably heat up the beef jerky.
We could do that. Yeah, I was actually impressed with your fire last night.
Might have been a little bit excessive with the kindling, but I wanted to get a good bit of coals.
Hey, listen, you can never, as long as you have enough resources in your environment, you can never have too much kindling, you know what I mean? Better safe than sorry.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way to get like a really, like, it's a solid bet to do a bunch of kindling and then throw on.
Yeah, because
smaller
what you don't want to
stuff,
happen
bigger
is
stuff.
have your fire go really good for 5 minutes, and then
burn out all
and then
the
it
fuel.
burns out, and you still got a bunch of unburnt logs, and then you got to start from scratch. So I always err on the side of extra kindling. But that was you guys have the drought up here too?
I think it's been pretty dry.
I
I
think
mean, it's rained some, but
that was part of it too. Is like intuitively, I just kind of knew that. Well, plus you have firewood chopped under this porch here that's dried
this
out.
firewood is really dry.
So like if this would have been actual survival, and I'm just using like a tree that I personally chopped down or found or something that just had been sitting somewhere, getting kind of wet and exposed to the elements, I would have had a lot more kindling.
Yep.
And I probably would have made the fire twice as big, like the logs.
Yeah.
But with this dry wood, it seemed to do just fine. You want some jerky?
I do, but I don't know if I want to pull my hand out of this. Sliding. Whoa.
Uh-oh. Don't rip up your sleep bag now. You need a hand?
No. I embraced the fall.
Just went with it, huh?
Yeah.
So like I kind of got a fart right now, but I feel like you're right downwind.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do you a favor and hold it in.
Are my feet getting burnt?
No. Hopefully the ground isn't wet.